A 74-year-old man collapsed in his bathroom. It wasn't a stroke or a heart attack. His heart was still beating, but his blood wasn't flowing properly. All of this happened because of something he thought was harmless, something he had been doing for over 50 years. Masturbation. But it wasn't just the act itself, it was how he had been doing it. The habits that no one ever warned him about. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a men's health expert with over 60 years of clinical experience helping older men maintain their circulation, restore their confidence, and reignite intimacy without relying on pills, shame, or dangerous methods. I've treated retired Marines, former CEOs, grandfathers, and everyday family men, and in each case, one thing kept coming up again and again. They had no idea that 4 common masturbation habits, once harmless in their 30s, had now become silent saboteurs after the age of 62. Why? Because the older male body responds differently. Veins weaken, nitric oxide levels decline, and what once felt normal may now be subtly causing harm every time you think you're just relieving stress. In this video, I'll reveal the 4 masturbation mistakes that gradually block circulation, harm intimacy, and accelerate aging in the male body after 62, along with simple changes you can make to reignite your vitality and restore the connection you thought was lost forever. Be sure to stick around until the end, because the 4th mistake is something 9 out of 10 older men do naturally, and it could be the reason your blood flow is failing in the most important part of your body. Before we proceed, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another tip that helps protect your circulation, confidence, and intimacy after 62. If this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're here. If not, type 0. I'm always listening and looking to serve you better. Let's start with the most common mistake, one that seems harmless but is quietly putting dangerous pressure on your blood vessels every time. Mistake number 1, rushing. When a man over 62 rushes through masturbation, he's unknowingly triggering what I call vascular freeze. His heart rate spikes and blood vessels in the pelvic area constrict and expand rapidly. The problem? As we age, our circulatory system doesn't bounce back the way it used to. The flexibility of your arteries decreases and your nitric oxide levels, necessary for opening blood vessels, decline. The result? Sudden, intense surges of blood flow can overwhelm weakened veins and fragile capillaries, especially in the penis. It's not about strength or shame, it's about physiology. You may not feel it immediately, but over time, this rushed stimulation gradually damages blood vessel function, causing micro-injuries. It leads to stiffness where there should be flexibility and reduced sensitivity where there used to be strength. The effect isn't just physical. Men begin to notice reduced sensitivity, slower erections, and less warmth and responsiveness during real intimacy. A quiet fear sets in. What's happening to me? They blame age or stress, but the truth is their body is simply reacting to frequent overexertion in an area that needs care, not chaos. Rushed masturbation sends the wrong signals. It tells your nervous system to sprint when it should be stretching, which stifles blood flow, suppresses excitement hormones, and chips away at the foundation of physical closeness and trust in your body. How you treat your body in private affects how you feel in public, how you connect with others, how you rest, think, and love. Intimacy isn't just about climax. It's about circulation, closeness, and connection. When you rob your body of a gentle touch, you rob yourself of the vitality that makes you feel like a man. Now here's where it gets even more surprising. Many men who slow down still unknowingly make the next mistake, one that affects their blood flow without them even realizing it. Mistake number 2, masturbating with high pelvic pressure, ignoring breathing. There's something subtle I've noticed in nearly every man over 60 who comes into my clinic with concerns about intimacy, circulation, or vitality. It's not just what they're doing, it's how they're doing it. During private moments, most of them unconsciously hold their breath. Their shoulders rise, their stomachs tighten, and their pelvic floor muscles lock up like a clenched fist. They think it's normal. It's not. This unconscious tension, this breathless, forceful habit during masturbation might seem harmless, but it cuts off blood flow. It signals your nervous system to tighten, not release. Instead of allowing your blood vessels to open and oxygen to flow through your tissues, it creates a tight, restricted environment where circulation is blocked at its source. Over time, this tension builds into a habit, and the habit becomes dysfunction. When you stop breathing, you stop flowing. That's not just a metaphor, it's physiology. The penis is one of the most blood-sensitive organs in the body. It depends on smooth, relaxed blood flow, not pressure, not tension. But when your breath is shallow and your body is tense, your arteries constrict, your nitric oxide levels drop, and instead of promoting life-giving circulation, you subtly suffocate the very intimacy you're seeking. I've had men look at me in shock when I ask, "Were you holding your breath?" They nod, because no one ever told them how breathing impacts excitement. No one explained that pelvic relaxation and deep rhythmic breath are as vital to a healthy erection as testosterone itself. The older your body gets, the more it needs cooperation, not control. Tension in the wrong places leads to long-term weakness in the areas you care about most. The truth is, if you're breathing shallowly, clenching your body and rushing to finish, you're not just cutting off sensation. You're training your body to treat pleasure like a threat. That tension creates a subtle war inside your circulation, and eventually, your confidence pays the price. But even if you start breathing again, there's another habit that drains your strength in a different way, quietly stealing your drive day by day, even when everything else seems normal. And it starts with how often you're doing it. Mistake number 3, daily masturbation without recovery, draining your libido reservoir. It's a quiet habit, a routine that starts innocently, maybe out of boredom, loneliness, or just to feel something again. For many older men, daily masturbation becomes a ritual, a way to mark time, relieve stress, or feel normal. But what most don't realize is that after 62, this daily rhythm doesn't just drain your energy. It slowly depletes the very system your intimacy depends on. Your body isn't 30 anymore. Your recovery time is longer. Your testosterone bounces back slower. The blood vessels that once recovered quickly now need time, oxygen, and space to repair. When you masturbate every single day, or worse, multiple times a day, you're not giving your body a break. You're depleting your reservoir of nitric oxide, dopamine, and even emotional desire. The symptoms creep in subtly. You might notice you don't feel as much afterward. There's a lingering numbness in your pelvic area. Erections aren't as responsive, and you feel more tired, more disconnected, even a little detached from yourself. One man in his late 60s once told me, "Doc, I just don't feel interested in real intimacy anymore. I do it every day, but I feel nothing afterward." That broke my heart because his body wasn't broken. It was overworked. When you overstimulate without allowing time to recharge, you're not just dulling sensation. You're weakening the very circuits that generate arousal in the first place. And when those circuits burn out, circulation slows, veins weaken, and connection fades. Masturbation should be a moment of connection, not a coping mechanism for emotional exhaustion. If it becomes compulsive or mechanical, it turns into a quiet thief, robbing you of the natural drive, warmth, and intimacy your body was meant to experience, even in your later years. But here's the surprising part. Even if you space things out and allow recovery, there's one habit that continues to hijack your nervous system, and it's not physical at all. It starts in your brain. Mistake number 4, using porn that hijacks the brain, starving real intimacy. Modern pornography isn't what it was 50 years ago. It's fast, extreme, and designed to overstimulate your brain in a way real life simply can't compete with. What that does, especially in a man over 62, is rewire the pleasure center of the brain. Your dopamine receptors become desensitized, your arousal patterns shift toward fantasy, not reality. Slowly, without realizing it, your body stops responding to real touch, real closeness, and real intimacy. Modern pornography isn't what it was 50 years ago. It's fast, extreme, and designed to overstimulate your brain in a way real life simply can't compete with. What that does, especially in a man over 62, is rewire the pleasure center of the brain. Your dopamine receptors become desensitized. Your arousal patterns shift toward fantasy, not reality. Slowly, without realizing it, your body stops responding to real touch, real closeness, and real intimacy. I've had men sit in my office, tears in their eyes, saying, "Doc, I don't feel anything when I'm with my wife anymore. I feel broken." But they're not broken, they're conditioned. And that conditioning is disrupting one of the most important processes in the male body, circulation. Here's how the brain is the command center for blood flow. When you constantly flood it with artificial arousal, you short-circuit the natural cascade of signals that trigger real-world blood movement. You confuse your nervous system, shrink your emotional capacity, and before long, blood flow to the pelvic region weakens. Erections become unreliable, and intimacy feels more like a chore than a gift. The more you rely on porn, the more your body forgets how to respond to the human experience of closeness. And after 62, when every vessel and signal needs to work in harmony, this misfire between brain and body becomes a disaster for your confidence, your relationships, and your sense of self. The good news? Every single one of these mistakes can be reversed. When men return to slow, mindful arousal, when they begin to breathe again, release pelvic tension, and allow time for recovery, everything changes. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s come back from the edge, not because of pills or devices, but because they finally learned how to cooperate with their body, not fight against it. They stopped treating pleasure like a race. They stopped punishing themselves with silence, shame, or mechanical habits. And when they did, their body responded, not overnight, but steadily. Circulation improved, sensitivity returned. Confidence rebuilt itself, not as a fantasy, but as a lived daily reality. Your body wants to work with you. It just needs the right signals, not stress, not chaos, not overstimulation, but patience, breath, recovery, and presence. So, if you're over 62 and wondering why things don't feel right anymore, maybe it's not your age. Maybe it's not your hormones. Maybe it's simply time to give your body what it's been asking for all along: respect, rhythm, and rest.